call law, Yahweh Shemi Shai, Bahara Kadash. Double honors want to give double honors to apostles who are elders, which are GMS, who rule well. Also say blessed salutations to the elect who teach and endure the truth sincerity. Another blessed salutations to the innumerable multitude, which are the men, women, and children that follow the truth with sincerity. And also blessed salutations to the wheat that amongst tares that are scattered abroad. Uh, so this lesson I wanted to go over, going into your desires determine your initiative. Okay, your desires determine your initiative. Um, if you find yourself within the ministry and you're like always behind, you know what I'm saying? What I mean by behind is that, we all are one spirit, we all are one mind, we all are one body. When you think of something and you don't put it to action, or if you like know you should do something and you don't have the discipline to do it, you know, it's because your desires aren't set on the ministry. And that can happen because, um, pursuant to Luke chapter 12, verse 32 to 33, you know what I'm saying? It says, set your treasures on high, where earth and moss and rust don't corrupt it. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about setting your desires in this place is that it can be taken. And when you set your desires in a place where it can be taken, that creates up and downs in your life. You know what I'm saying? Where if you put your desire into a woman, that's going to cause initiative. You're going to buy her flowers, you're going to, what we call simping. But, if you're romantic, let's say it's being romantic, that's your woman. You always thinking about her, you get off work, you take her out to eat, you cook her, y'all eat together, movie night, you know what I'm saying? She cook and all that, you do things that grown folks do. And that's, if your desires is towards her, you're gonna have initiative. Ain't nobody gotta tell you to get up and do something for her, right? But when that woman leaves, that's gonna create a down in your life. But when you have her, it's gonna have a up. It's gonna be up. You know what I'm saying? But when you lay your treasures up in heaven, heaven is consistent. We know, you know, what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? The Lord prophesied it. So when we lay our treasures up in heaven and work on heavenly things such as your inner man, uh, such as your higher duty towards your how about Shem Shai, then you're gonna things that are going on around us won't affect us as much. You know, because if you set your treasures on heaven, women, if a woman leaves or stays, it doesn't matter. It doesn't create an up and down in your life. If you lose a job, it doesn't create an up and down in your life because your desire is toward the Most High. And that's why he said, let your eye be single, because you can't worship the Most High and Mammon at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So, now that you know where to direct your spirit, let's backtrack a bit so you can understand when you direct your spirit, again, it creates initiative. That's very important. Your desires create initiative. As I said, nobody got to tell you how to get some box. You know what I'm saying? Once your loins, when you come of age and your loins start to yearn for a woman in a physical manner, nobody got to tell you how to get that. Nobody got to tell you how to eat. Nobody got to tell you how to do certain things. Your desires will determine your initiative. So if you're in this ministry and you find yourself lacking initiative, somebody got to get up and tell you to do something. That's because you're lacking desire in the ministry. To be frank, I know it may rub a person the wrong way because you have a so-called standard for how you feel who you are in this truth. You may feel like you're a great man, you're doing your best, but are you doing your best? Are your desires toward this ministry? Because we all do the same thing. We all get into folly. We all get into the ministry. But when your desires are towards this ministry, that's the first and last thing you think about. That you always think about improving it, constructing it, what's wrong with it, what's good about it. You're excited about it. It's the first thing you wake up and you think about. Think about it. If you got a woman, your dream woman, and she say, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Look, I do, or whatever. When you wake up in the morning, you're gonna think about it. You know what I'm saying? When if you got a fucking Corvette outside, you know what I'm saying? You just got it, and you desire cars and you love cars. When you wake up in the morning, you're gonna think about it. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell when you're dealing with people in the world. And, you know, I've been seeing people, you know, getting their rims right, all kind of crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? They'll sit out there after work on breaks and be shining their rim up and doing it. That's initiative to what? Keep your car clean. You know what I'm saying? Like the scriptures say, that a woman's desires to a husband. That's why women always they're like, did you leave this? Did you get this? Did you know what I'm saying? They remember shit we forget because their desires towards us how the woman may please her husband, as the scripture say in 1 Corinthians the 7th chapter. You know what I'm saying? So if your desire creates initiative. So if you're lacking initiative, my best advice, it's not a biblical thing, but at the same time it is, because, you know, like I mentioned in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, it tells you when your desire is towards something else, it's hard to put the efficient amount of energy towards the Most High. Because in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, the one I mentioned, it says, you know, the Lord would rather a woman and a man to remain unmarried if you're unmarried in this time, in this particular time, because what we're called to do is we're called to bid them to the marriage, and for those who are bidden to the marriage, you gotta, you know, remain in the court in order to receive salvation. All right. So if you're in that marriage and you like, and you like thinking about, you know, how it was on the outside, like the Israelites in Egypt, how Lot's wife in Sodom and Gomorrah, her desires made her turn back. In the Israelites in Egypt that murmured and complained, their desires was to eat and live comfortably, so they was looking back towards Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So if your desires, the Lord says, uh, uh, um, um, pretty much leave off from this world and the pride of life and all these other things. He says, like, leave off from these things, you know what I'm saying, and become a new creature. So that's telling you, you gotta not only conform your culture and your lifestyle, but you gotta conform your desires. Okay? Because if you really desired salvation, you really ultimately, if you really desired the truth of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you know, the Father and the Son, the things that He loves, you will love too. You know what I'm saying? Like the scriptures say, he that is not with me is against me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's impossible to be in the flesh and please the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So if your desires are set on carnal things, scriptures don't correlate, right? Because your mind, your spirit is not set in a heavenly place. It's set in a carnal place. Therefore, it's not able to please the Most High. It's not able to think like Him. It's not able to compute these things. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to you know, someone in particular, you know, a shorty, and she'll, you know, talk about relationships and things like that. And I even had my rib ask me the same question a long time ago, saying, well, you know, why don't we do, you know, go out and do these dates and all that? And I'm just like, my mind ain't on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, as a husband to a wife, I appreciate your presence, and I don't downgrade it, but my mind isn't on, my desires aren't on you like that. And when a lot of women get offended at that, because they're pretty much wanting the place of Yahweh Shai at this moment, you know. And our affection is if your desires are on heaven, it's very hard to multitask in this world, man. You know what I'm saying? And that it's okay, because right now, even though the Lord gave us women, food in this world to enjoy, right now is not the time to enjoy it, and we got to have the discipline to know how to refrain from our desires. You know what I'm saying? Because your desires can create you being undisciplined. It can put a void in your character and your virtue. You know, if your desire is about money, you'll scandal a brother. You'll try to come up on a brother. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, you know, okay, if my desire is on heaven and I come up on money, you're going to think about the brother, taking care of him more than taking away from him. You know, so just point blank period, I just want to put out there that, you know, lay your treasures up in heaven. Your desire should be on heavenly things. If your desire is on heavenly things, you're going to have initiative to think about it without somebody telling you or asking you. The apostles, if you have a desire to push this truth, the apostles wouldn't have to tell us, to uh, to do multiple videos, to do a video every day, to exhort one another daily. If that was our desire, nobody would have to tell us that, because we get up and go. You know what I'm saying? The Lord already set a base desire on us to preach the gospel. Oh, we got to warn the people. So it's like, you have to, you're obligated to do these things, and you feel compelled to do the Lord's will because your desire is towards Him. You know what I'm saying? But if your desire isn't toward Him and it's for a benefit like salvation or a blessing, when you get that blessing, the desire is going to go. Now, salvation, once it pretty much don't line up with a blessing, because when you get salvation, we become whole, and the law is going to be written in our inward parts. So that's a goal worth reaching. You know what I'm saying? But if your desire is to, Lord, take care of these bills or do this, and short-term goals, then your initiative is going to lack. Like the scriptures say, when in prosperity, it's a forgetfulness of afflictions, and when dealing with afflictions, there's a forgetfulness of prosperity. Like, when you going through it, you ain't thinking about, like, oh man, the good old days and shit like that. You can suffer. You can go through it. You know what I'm saying? When you're poor, you gotta walk everywhere. You walk. You don't think about, like, oh man, I remember I used to have all this. Like, nah, man, I gotta get back. I gotta bounce back, because that's the situation you're in. And same thing when you're doing good. But a true disciple will remain balanced within that area. To when you're doing good, you remember when you were poor. You know what I'm saying? And you remember what to do to people that are poor, and you know how to empathize. You know, but at the end of the day, again, and I'll say it one more time, your desires determine your initiative. If you're lacking initiative within the camp, if you're behind with the ideas, you're behind with input, and making yourself an able body to where, dang, I'm not available this day, or dang, I can't meet y'all, or dang, I don't have the money, to help out these brothers, to give alms. I don't got. That's because your desires are either for yourself, more than likely it's for yourself, or for the world. Because if you set your desires and your treasures up in heaven, you're going to be ready. You're going to say, oh, when I get this house, I got to make sure it's big enough for the brothers. When I get this car, I got to make sure the brothers can get in here, we can travel to camp. You know what I'm saying? But when your desires are upon yourself, you're going to be like, oh, I want this. This is what I want. This is, I like this and I like that. But when your desires are for the Lord, you will really enjoy seeing the ministry grow, and the love of yourself will turn into a love of the ministry. You will love the ministry like you love yourself. So when we produce videos, putting up the videos with high quality at a high pace, and uploading it fast, being appealing, and speaking and reading, all this, will increase. So I just want to put that out there. Hopefully it helps out, brothers. Hey, shalom.